Hello and welcome. Today we've got Sonya Nagy and we are going to be discussing Christ in the Mass. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to our Telegram channels and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. Sonya, thank you for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to?
Well, hello, Nicholas. Honored to be with you as always. And I've been up to holiday season and really supporting individuals to move through, whether they're in the challenging time, because some do have a very big challenge this holiday season. And I feel the collective pain and suffering that is going on in the world with all of the challenges we've been in that's created even this platform. Simultaneously, I'm having a new spectrum on life as I have a 21-month-old grandchild, my first, and really getting to express the full presence of that Christ in the holiday, in this Christ Mass, this Christmas, as people call it. And I've questioned this for a long time. What is this? What is this holiday? Why has it been so commercialized? And why is money and debt and all of this tied into this holiday of wholeness, of coming home to the family and to the heart and to the soul and bringing pure presence through? So, yes, I love to help people with that awareness. And I recognize both ends of the spectrum. So, yeah, that's what I want to share today is are people bringing their full presence
Absolutely.
into this holiday?
So I was having a conversation with my dad the other week, and I was telling my dad that in the Bible somewhere it says that, we shouldn't cut the tree from the forest and decorate it with gold and, decorations and stuff. And that's exactly what we do on Christmas. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, well, I would love to never cut a tree again for Christmas, and I don't. And it's interesting because I don't get to choose for other people. And my daughter-in-law that has this first grandbaby of mine, they've actually cut their first Christmas tree, and they live on 5 acres of land. So I've encouraged them to the outside Christmas tree, and I recognize it. They bring that nature into the home to have a deeper connection, right? So I can recognize both ends of the spectrum. I've cut the tree and brought it in my home too. And, is this us cooperating with a disconnection to nature that, the black hats would like us to do?
Who
Or would
knows?
we like to go back out and celebrate in the whole nature, the holiness that's available? I want to share what's coming up for me right now. The ornaments, the ornaments, and where did the orb shape, the round sphere ball, the Christmas ornaments, where did that come from? And I'm going to tell you, when I was very high in spirit, and I can say that, I live in this practical world too and don't always hold that, but I, in a very high state of bliss, was driving a 300-mile road, and there were a lot of trees on both sides of the road, and I actually saw the orbs in the trees. So my perception had opened up considerably for this possibility to come through. And I really got the awareness that that's why they create those round balls for the trees, because positive energy, good energy, high spirits have a perfect spherical shape to them in their shaped nature. And negative energy or depressing energy is more like a blob. Doesn't have, even if we go to the skin in cancers, if you have a skin, a mark on your skin and you go to the dermatologist and you ask, one of the things they look at is the symmetrical nature of it. If it's got a symmetrical nature to it, if it's balanced in its form, then it's probably nothing to worry about. However, if it's misshapen or its shape is changing and it's flexing in its color, there's concern. So this shows you at a tangible physical level on our body, that evidence as well. So little aside.
So what do you think about, some of the things that we've been taught in our religions that's deep state infiltrated, since it's such a big structure, a daily structure
Mm.
that we live in our today lives? For an example, COVID is so mainstream. The big pharma is so mainstream. Anything that's mainstream, I say, it's deep state in this world. So what do you think about that? And how do you differentiate that from Christ consciousness and the real true meaning of God and love and peace and oneness?
So I think they leech, the deep state leeches on the truth, right? So they're, in all that they're bringing, like they're bringing the essence of the spirit, if you will. They're bringing, we're going to get together and we're going to have presence, but the presence to them is a package with money and debt generally tied to it, because people will go out and they get into the spirit. So they overspend and they put themselves into a debt rather than to recognize that the presence is within them, within each of us, and to celebrate the presence within versus the packaging and sharing a package. The package really is each one of us coming to the party. And can we sit in that? So I think they take, they steal from the essence of truth and then modify it in a way that it's going to benefit them, and we suffer as the mass. Right? So as we individually take our individual presence back and own our power and experience that to the degree that we want to experience that, but really bring through simultaneously, and more importantly, the presence. And it's interesting because a lot of families have been disconnected from all of this. And a lot of families have challenged coming together at the holidays because they're wearing that shadow mask side of them that has been infiltrated by these deep states.
So
And yes. So
when they modify these the principles of God and the truth, like you said, and they modify them and they build their own structures, how do you think that the interpretation is affected from the truth?
confusion. I think it's confusion, it's dis-ease, it's distraction, it takes people off the path of their own truth. And there's usually pain and suffering there in one form or another. And when you're in your full presence and when you're carrying your full energy, you don't naturally go to things that are destructive for you. It's learning to prioritize the inward information, the internal heart, soul, earth awareness versus the external information of the world. And we're bombarded right now with information, being in the age of information. And a lot of it is not in alignment with our truth. And it's up to each one of us to have the free will choice into what is right for us. And, we get distracted and we feel the pain and we come back home. Right. And the encouragement is to start from that internal awareness.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
And
So
when we realize that, sorry, please.
you don't go down those roads. Yes. And when we realize that.
Well, yeah, I mean, and then we realize that, a lot of the interpretations are, they're being, fear is included in it. We've got to follow rules and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. But isn't it? But when we step out of that structure, it's easier to see that, God judges us with our intentions.
And their
And this is
action.
what the deep state want us to feel, to be in that position of fear and to divide us. What are your thoughts on the division of religion and
Yeah.
how?
Okay. Yes. And they give us very much a right and a wrong. And, where does God judge the trees and the animals and the rest of nature? Where do we see evidence of this truth? We don't. We don't see evidence of this truth. So this is a lie that they've held to us. And I'm not saying that we don't have a right course that is right for us to follow. And if we don't follow our right course, we're going to have pain and suffering. That's just the nature of it, right? If you don't do what's in a right alignment for you, you're going to feel that one way or another. And that's what encourages us into our truth. And some people will get lost there their entire lifetime.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned to me that Christ in the Mass. What does that mean to you?
That means all of us walking in our Christ consciousness and walking in this state of union within, this unification of a mental body, an emotional body. So the thoughts, the memories, the imagination, not making any of them right or wrong, because authentically there can only be one perspective of each one of us. So, and it really standing in the appreciation of our unique oneness and our wholeness, our holiness, and celebrating that in glory and joy and victory and merriment. And this is, to me, Christ consciousness. Will we see this? I hope so. I think now is that time. That's why this is so exciting, is now is that time that we can have this. And as this deep state leaves and releases and people no longer choose to seek outside of them for their truth and they go inside of them for their own unique perspective, we will have Christ in the Mass.
Absolutely. Well, Sonya Nagy, thank you very much. It's been an absolute honor to have you. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
Yes, happy holy day. Know yourself in your wholeness. And if you want to join me Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, I do a transmission of soul into the body. So you can have more of your own personal awareness of that. And soulform.com. Yes, I'm ready to shine from my soul. We'll bring you there. And what an honor to be with you, Nicholas. I love your energy, your perspective, and your inquisition that you have about truth and the world and bringing that to the public, bringing that to the masses. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'll happily leave the link below so that people can contact you should they wish to find out more about being spiritual, meditation, and peace, etc. So thank you very much for your service. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.